And we are United by Rice, where we talk about all things related to a NHPI and entertainment, creative spaces, and beyond. I'm Junko, one of your hosts.
And I'm Ben Lee, one of your hosts. And we are excited today to have, at the second half of our episode, Amy Wang, who is an up and coming filmmaker that I expect big things from. She's done a couple
Yeah,
great
yeah.
films, and the one we're talking about today is Slanted, which will
hmm
be having its theatrical release on March 14th. So, a lot of fun things that came out of our conversation. But I'll kind of turn it over to you, Junko, before we talk about the film.
Yep.
What's going on in your day to day and
Oh my
and in life
day.
in general?
Not. I'm like nothing much. Um. I don't know why this popped up, but I guess for Los Angeles locally, our local elections are coming up.
Mm,
It's in June. So like, the mayor is on the ballot, all the positions are. So, um, that's a little bit, just to be super local.
yeah, yeah.
There's that. And then also, I actually have to catch up with my friend. Um, but there's been a big movement about, I think the hashtag term is stay in LA, I think, but it's an overall movement of keeping work in LA. I remember seeing a version of this, when the CW used to, that first big wave of ever moving to Vancouver for
Yeah.
all the CW
So you're
shows
talking specifically about the entertainment industry, like
in Los
y-
Angeles.
yeah, and that's obviously been like uh, um, a line of rhetoric that's been going on kind of prominently during the fires, right, or just after. But
Yeah,
ever
yeah, it
ever
was a
since the
big hit.
strikes and the fires, everybody's been
Right.
talking about like trying to keep jobs in LA. So I
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah, it's changing, and back in the day, the cycle would be like you can raise a family here, um, and make it to your kids' like basketball games and school presentations and piano recitals because the work was here. But now, so often, everyone just is just being sent to Canada or Europe or Asia, wherever.
Yeah,
And yeah, and it's I think I feel probably one generation ago in the industry was a little bit more stable. Where like was it like a series would just pretty much shoot during the school year and then you had the summers off. And that's that whole pattern is definitely changed. The fires did hugely. Obviously,
yeah.
COVID was massive. So there's just so many like changes and that are kind of out of our control that have happened in the last 5 years.
Yep.
Um, that I think we're still kind of like reacting to it. So we'll just
I
have
think
to see how it
reacting is
goes.
the right word, right? Because I think, and it's not just the entertainment industry when you bring up certain topics like, oh,
Mm,
where do you raise your family? I mean, that
yeah,
has nothing to
yeah, yeah,
do with the TV and film industry. That's just
yeah,
like cost of living and why it makes
yeah,
sense for some businesses to like move and then decide whether they can get an employee, a local employee force versus the LA
yeah,
group. But it is interesting, right? Like how quickly we've moved and adopted to this world of network. Like what was the average um series? 24
mm.
episodes, something like
Oh,
that, right?
right. Yeah. It
Right?
was yeah, it's
You know,
24. Yeah, 24
and
episodes in a season was standard.
every year, like your standard
Mm-hmm.
like fall television seasons, where
Yeah.
now you take any show, like take Severance as an example,
Yeah.
right? It's 8 episodes, 10
Right.
episodes,
Yep.
and not even like an announcement yet on when they're going to start filming the next season.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's, you
Like,
know,
yeah, remember the big network ads? Like, it would be like the
yeah,
fall lineup, and it would be like,
yeah.
this is that, and it would be exciting, but there's actually no excitement like that
Yeah, is there a
anymore,
TV guide
actually.
anymore, Junko? Do
Right?
you see
Right.
does TV guide exist anymore?
Nope. No.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I think that's and I as a someone who's not that close to the industry, like we love our stars and we don't ever think that they're suffering, but it's all the other people, right? It's all the below the line folks that
yeah, yeah.
they would like to know that they have a
Right.
job every month,
Yeah.
every year, right?
And actually, that also brings us around to the James Van Der Beek topic
Oh
that we
yes,
kind of
yeah,
was
you
like
brought this up.
talking about, making a living. So a lot of people were surprised that James Van Der Beek, who's super famous, his family raised $2.5 million because they have 6 kids. Good Lord. Six
Should we
kids.
take I don't know, Junko, your
Mm.
generation, do we need to take like a moment of silence for
Dawson's
Dawson's
Creek.
Creek and McSteamy? We
Right.
lost two
Ah,
heartthrobs in
right,
one week or
right, right.
10 days, right?
I was never in either camp, so I
Okay,
wasn't really
okay.
into it. So I mean, I know who James Van Der Beek is, but I never
You sure?
really, yeah. I was just not that demographic, I guess. But so people may be wondering what the heck happened to James Van Der Beek, but um, now I haven't taken a deep dive into his original contract, but he will say to this day that he did sign off on a really bad contract that did not include residuals. So my question is like what was the residual standards at that time and
Yeah.
what did he waive and what did he gain? But
And my
just was
question
not
for
for his
you would
yeah.
be like for someone, because I don't know the full IMDb profile of James Van Der Beek, but I don't think he was big before Dawson's Creek.
Right.
So is whatever he signed that atypical, right? I just feel like,
Yeah.
struggling actors or like someone who's getting their big break. This happens in music all the time too, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Taylor Swift famously, they don't know what they're signing and or don't have any
yeah.
other choice because they want a job so badly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, definitely true. Although like and come to think of it, even I'm not sure. Even if he had residuals back then, like he might just be getting like 50 cents by this point. I'm not
Mm,
quite sure.
mm.
Cuz like Dawson's Creek hasn't had a resurgence like let's say, I don't know.
Friends, like
Yeah, like
Friends,
Friends. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Friends actors famously make like 30 million a year just off of
Right.
residuals, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that was part of their contracts. So, with SAG Union Healthcare up until 2020, we had to make 18,000 a year to qualify for our first tier insurance. There's two tiers. I don't remember what the second how much you had to
Mm,
make for the second tier. Uh but yeah, so that was like the minimum you had to make. Usually up until probably maybe 2015, maybe 2015 and on. Yeah. 2015 and on um, you would usually need to book maybe two to three commercials to
mhm,
live comfortably. So in LA, the was it? Oh, the line for low income, I believe, is like 70,000 or 75,000, something like that.
mm,
Anything under than that, you're considered low income. So up until COVID, between like 2015 to 2020, you had to pretty much do like book like three national commercials to hit that number, and then you would
mm.
have health insurance, um,
Yeah, and that's not
and then
necessarily living comfortably. That's just qualifying for the bare minimum health
yeah,
insurance. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then before about 2015, or maybe it could have been 2008. Yeah, during the financial crisis. Up until then, you could actually book just one commercial and be pretty comfortable. That's like
Mm,
kind of the economies of the last 20 years of going through these stages of you could book one national and it was comfortable, and now you have to book three. And now, fast forward, um, as of 2020, yeah, what happened in 2020 is that our insurance minimums went from 18,000 to 28,000. Currently, it's like 28,000 and change,
mm,
but it jumped majorly and everyone freaked out, obviously, because we were in the middle of COVID. Especially like the elderly folks, they go under a different system. It's like a points or like how many days you worked. Um, that's calculated a little bit differently, but all of a sudden, like you were out, you know, you had to bridge that $10,000 gap for your keep your insurance. So James Van Der Beek, I know he had a little comeback with was the Girl in Apartment 21? No, he in a sitcom. Didn't he have a brief? He came back for a show.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds familiar to me. I can't remember the show, but
Multicam.
I know that he's generally beloved, and not just for his time in Dawson's Creek, but he,
Yeah,
has come back in some other
yeah.
appearances, whether guest starring
He has an
or as a
audience.
regular. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, um, so I think I'm trying to remember what year that was that he guest starred in a couple episodes. But basically, after a year of not working, once he got sick, he did not have SAG insurance. He has 6 kids. I doubt that his spouse was able to work. So they probably went into Cobra,
yeah.
which we all know is really expensive.
High copay, high deductible, right? So,
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's how, like insurance wise, that's how James Van Der Beek definitely lost his union SAG insurance for
yeah.
sure because he
Oh,
didn't
and
work.
I guess
Yeah.
whether he had it or not, I mean, the fact is he had several children.
Right.
The fact is that cancer and the type of cancer he had, the treatments are really expensive.
And I heard he was
And they
doing more
just,
experimental treatments
yeah,
as well, which
yeah,
costs a gazillion
because
dollars.
they're not
Yeah.
usually insured, right? So
Right. It's all
I
out of
don't,
pocket.
I know, yeah. So I think the reason you brought this topic up is because, publicly some people are like, how could this famous actor
Yeah.
do a GoFundMe? But I think the reality
Yeah.
is his care costs millions and he hasn't made millions over the last,
Yeah.
probably 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe no. I would
And
say maybe less than that. I would probably say in like the 10 or 12 years,
I
just
can't
because of that
remember, like,
that guest star he did.
okay,
And everyone was
okay.
really excited because I think he was like playing himself, I believe,
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff like
Uh,
that. But
I mean,
anyway, uh,
the other interesting thing about,
yeah,
I don't know if it's interesting is the right word, but
yeah,
his passing, and is it Eric Danes? Is that
right
McSteamy?
from Grays.
Grey's Anatomy and a
Oh,
bunch of
okay.
other stuff. It's so public now too. Like these are younger
Yeah,
stars, unfortunately, like in their 40s and 50s, and they
yeah.
really tapped into like social media. And I think Eric Dane even has, I think there's even a show on Netflix that is a recording of his like last words, that he willingly filmed for a Netflix show called Famous Last Words. It's heartbreaking. We've all seen little clips of these interviews, and they're both terribly inspiring people in terms
Mm,
of what they tried to do
mm,
for others who have the same disease in the short time that they had.
yeah.
But it is kind of it's a little chilling in many ways to like see all their not just coverage, but then to like see them talking about their own mortality
Mhm,
in such a vulnerable way. So I don't
mm,
know. I found myself, even though I was never a Dawson's Creek guy or a James
yeah,
Van Der Beek guy,
yeah,
being very touched by some of the clips that he had put on social. So
yeah,
rest in peace, I guess, to both of them. And
yeah.
for fans, we're sorry that you may
Indeed,
be grieving.
indeed.
But I was excited. So let's come back to Amy.
Yeah.
I had interviewed her during South by last
Right.
year.
Hmm.
South by is every March, so almost a year
Yep.
ago.
It's where they
And
premiered Slanted. Yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah. Those US premiere.
And the film Slanted stars, names. I think two names that maybe I don't know, probably to a younger audience than me would be household names, right? So
That's true.
Maitri Rashkrishnan. I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah.
that perfectly, but she's from The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I have learned and been told many times that is a massive hit show.
Yeah. I like
And then
Rush.
McKenna Grace, who's just one of
Yes.
those like young actresses that's in
Mm,
like all of the young actress parts, the
yeah.
different horror
Yeah.
movies.
So she's in Scream 7 upcoming.
Yes, exactly. I think she was in Ghostbusters, etc. And
Yeah.
then Shirley Chen, who is someone that I've kind of had my eyes on because she was in Dee Dee. She
Indeed.
played the
Right.
older sister in Dee Dee, and I think is one of those up and coming Asian American actresses. So a fantastic cast who keep growing as since the film has aired, which I think sets the film up really well for hopefully a good theatrical run,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
comes out March
And then
14th.
we're also like, as us like United by Rice, we're hoping to have a cast member on as well in
That's
the
right.
future.
We're gonna have Shirley.
Okay.
Like we're. I don't think we have it scheduled yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're
Okay.
gonna get Shirley on. And again, I think she's super talented.
Mhm.
The log line of the film, relatively simple, is a young Asian American woman growing up in high school, feeling the kind of mean girls type of pressure from the popular girls,
Yep.
decides to undergo a procedure to essentially become white. And the first half of the movie, Shirley plays the main character, and then the second half it switches to McKenna Grace. So they're kind of two halves of the same character. But we will have Shirley on
Cool.
hopefully before the theatrical release, if not
Mm.
shortly after. And then hopefully we'll talk about some of the other projects because she's got a new show coming on Netflix as well. And then of course
Mm.
going back to Dee Dee and other projects she's
Yep.
been in.
Yep.
Um,
Cool.
I actually this movie, one critic described it as Mean Girls plus the substance, which I think is a
Mm.
pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of body horror, it's a little bit of genre bending, but I think it's quite good. And I I you kind of start with like the greatest hits of like your Asian American you know, generational trauma
Mm.
piece,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of course, like
Mhm.
Tiger Mom, those type of things, and someone who's embarrassed to have their, Asian food in their bento box type of
Right,
scenes that
right.
we see a lot, but then it just shifts into something so different that I think audiences will have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. I think so too. It's yeah, let's just stick to Mean Girls plus Substance.
Yeah. Now, as we were recording her interview, there's some crackling in her microphone and headphones, so we'll try to edit that out as much as possible, but
Okay, and
hopefully
who
the
knows? Like, it might
sound
not
quality will come
even.
out good.
Hopefully,
Yep,
like it might not, because what we hear isn't what's in the cloud necessarily.
that's right.
So hopefully, we're just hearing a bad version.
That's right. That's right.
Hopefully.
Um,
Anyway.
but I think, again, I think she's a real up and coming voice in film, and it's a real good sign that this film got picked up by Bleecker Street
Yeah.
and is having a wide theatrical release, no limited release. So no matter where you live in the country, you should be able to see it. And again, like whether you see it in the theater, hopefully you do, or see it in streaming, I do think people will enjoy it. And for those of our audience that aren't only into Asian American stories, I think people will relate to this regardless.
Mm. As long as
Anything
you went to
else
high
going
school.
on,
I was like, as
Junko?
long as you went
Before
to high school.
as long as you went to high school, as long as you've ever felt like you know you weren't perfect, then you'll
Yeah,
relate, right?
I guess either high school or your first day at a new job.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Pretty
good.
much, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep, yep.
With that, I think we can flip it over to
Yeah.
Amy. It's a lovely interview, and we hope you all enjoy. Keep following us on United by Rice, on all iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and then United by Rice podcast on Instagram. And we will see you soon with a bunch of other interviews we have coming up. Thanks.
And we're back here with Amy Wang, writer director of Slanted, that is
Hello.
about to hit the like airwaves. God, dates on the airwaves, the streamers in mid March. But we'll talk about those details a little later. But thank you so much for your time, Amy.
Of
Well,
course. Thank you for having me.
and maybe we can correct that right now. I think Slanted, I think it's going to get a theatrical release,
It's
right, Amy?
theatrical,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yes, very
yeah.
exciting, very exciting. So we'll
Yes,
get more
hell yeah.
details in a moment. But Amy, it's nice to see you. I got to do a quick interview at South by almost a year ago,
Yeah.
when I first saw this film, and It has stayed very top of mind. As you know, I have stalked you on Instagram. It's like, when's this coming out? Because I really do like this
Yeah.
film. You know, sometimes we watch independent films and they always have a good social message, but they're not always like that entertaining. I think this one is both,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
yay.
can't wait for people to see it.
Yes, me too. Me too. It's already I'm getting, some really fun, really nice DMs,
Mm.
since the trailers dropped.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to get more, yeah.
yeah. Well, why don't you kick us off and for our audience who hasn't seen the movie yet, give us a quick logline.
Yeah, so Slanted is about a Chinese American teenager who wants to win prom queen so badly that she basically goes through interracial surgery to become a white girl. And so the first half of the film is played by Shirley Chen, and then the second half of the film, the white version of Shirley Chen is McKenna Grace. And the messaging in the film is trying to say maybe the grass is not greener on the other side,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
you gotta get what you wish for to realize that.
Mm.
And what can you describe about the community? Because this is like a high school aged, film, or almost like a Mean Girls aged
Yeah.
film. But I assume, even though the cast is not all white besides Shirley, and it's not meant to be like there's only she's not the one white kid or the one non-white kid in the school, but I
Yes.
certainly sense that it's in an area that is mostly white.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the story is very heavily influenced by my own life and growing up in Australia. But yeah, the kind of world I've created is definitely like a hyper America. And so the school is predominantly white for sure, which I think is, still pretty truthful. I think in a lot of schools, especially in the South, or, the Midwest.
Sure.
And but yeah, Shirley, or the character's name in the movie, Joan, she's definitely not the only person of color in the school. And in fact, her best friend Brenda, who's played by Maitri,
Hmm.
she is also a person of color.
Yeah. And we know Maitri. I don't know, actually, at the time of casting this film, where
Mm.
were Shirley, McKenna, and Maitri in their careers? Because they've all kind of blown up for different
Yeah.
projects,
Yeah,
right?
And
I
very recently
know.
too. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I mean, gosh, I mean, I'd always known about Maitri through Never Have I Ever, obviously, her
Hmm.
hit
Mm.
show. And since then, I mean, I just saw her on the Super Bowl commercial. Did you guys see
Right.
that? The
Amazing.
Pokemon?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, she's got a new movie coming out soon on Netflix. And then obviously, Shirley, she is also on a new hit TV show for Netflix coming out really soon. And then McKenna, like she's literally
Mm.
in like everything, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with Scream 7, I mean, that's coming out, I think, like 2 weeks before Slanted.
Mm.
But yeah, she's doing her thing, doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess if we go back to South by and, you're premiering the film at that point, how long did it take to get to the distribution deal? And it
Yeah.
feels like it was fortuitous that you had the cast that you have because now they have to have a belief that you're going to be able to sell tickets to.
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. Yeah. I mean, it took a couple of months, I think, gosh, I'm trying to think, we premiered in March. I think we announced Bleecker Street like what, October, maybe September of
Mm.
last year, I think. So
Mm.
it took a
Hmm.
couple of months. Yeah, we had a couple of people were kind of deciding between, but Bleecker to me just felt like they understood the messaging, they understood how to market it. They weren't shy when it came to the marketing, and they were really open to just being provocative and staying true to the messaging and the tone, which I really liked. And so, yeah, we ended up going with Bleecker, and they've been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And do you think, now that you think back on it, do you think you got your three actors just at the right time, or was there already a scheduling issue?
As in,
Right?
like when we shot the film,
When
like
you
did
were
they already
shooting.
have a lot of things like
Yeah,
happening?
yeah, because it just, because
Um,
just how production schedules go sometimes. We
yeah,
don't know what's going on in the back end.
yeah, it actually was okay. I mean,
That's good.
I think McKenna had something. I think she was shooting. Can't remember. It wasn't Hunger Games. It was something else.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
right after we finished
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
shooting.
Mm.
But yeah, like it
Yeah,
worked out. Yeah,
that's awesome. And how many days
yeah.
was the shoot again?
We only shot for 20.5 days.
Yeah,
Huh.
and it was I'm like, I thought I read it was
Atlanta.
Atlanta, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. During like the peak, hottest, most moist days during summer.
Because I saw
Yeah.
some of the outdoors, and I think the feel was supposed to be like somewhere Americana, not necessarily Atlanta,
Yes.
Georgia, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, classic summer. It's like
Yeah.
looks
But it
like it's
was
in
it
legit summer.
yeah, it was so sticky and yeah, so hot. A great
Ah,
place.
yeah. Can't
Yeah.
tell though. So props to your
Yeah.
makeup department.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
props. Although there is some melting of faces, so maybe I don't
Yeah,
know, but
That's
yeah. Exactly,
true. Without giving away
exactly.
too much. Yeah.
yeah. So I feel like this is a story that I very easily could have written some elements of in my reflecting my own kind of growing up. I also grew up
Mm,
in a mostly white school, and I've always had this feeling of, wanting to. At least I went through phases of like, oh, I want to be more white. That's how you
yeah.
become popular. That's how you get more dates, whatever it is. At what point for you did you decide, well, I could tell that story in a very normal narrative way, or I could
Hmm.
maybe go a sci-fi body horror? Like, when did that idea come to you?
I mean, I feel like one of the greatest pieces of advice I ever heard, listening to podcasts and watching interviews was it was Vince Gilligan who
Hmm. Sure,
created
Pluribus
Breaking
and
Bad.
X-Files,
Breaking
Breaking
Yeah,
Bad.
Bad.
yeah,
Yep.
one of our favorite TV shows of all time, and he said, "When other people zig, I zag."
Mm.
And I feel like that's such a big part of who he is and why he's been really successful is because, fuck, nobody had created a show like Breaking Bad until he did. And same with
Yeah.
Pluribus, right? Pluribus is
Hmm.
extraordinary. And I feel like, even though it always has to feel authentic to yourself. And, I grew up watching Cronenberg. I grew up watching a lot of genre films, and I love satire. That's probably my favorite
Mm.
type of comedy. Triangle Sadness. Ruben
Mm.
Ostlund is one of my favorite filmmakers. But you got to think of like what's something that hopefully is something new and something that nobody's really seen before.
Hmm.
And that's how I kind of, thought about the core concept itself of what would it be like to turn white. And yes, I could have done it in a very kind of standard, dramatic, indie way, but I wanted to do something that was different and that was going to confront people, and the tone kind of just came with that because the
Yeah.
the concept was so absurd. It's like you can't make
Mm.
that serious, and then the
Yeah.
body horror kind of came. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just to take a little step back, because compared to Ben, like I will tend to ask the like on-set detailed questions,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
more of a general, just Amy Wang question. But like, how do you like captaining your ship? What's your style, and what's like the vibe that you
Oh,
like to have on set, or is it different from script to script?
yeah.
Because it's gonna be a different flavor.
Oh, that's a great question. I don't think it's different from script to script. I think I am definitely someone who wants to run a really relaxed
Mm.
set, fun set.
Mm.
But when I'm focused, when I'm directing, I'm definitely very focused. I'm very, you know, attention, detail oriented. But yeah, I love it when, especially when my actors bring me ideas,
Mm,
whether or not it's in the moment or, you know, before we even start shooting. Like I had Zooms with each of my actresses
mm,
before we started shooting, and some of the best ideas that ended up in the film came
mm.
from them.
Yeah.
You know, because they know the characters sometimes better
Mm,
than I do, you know, because
mm.
they are the people. So yeah, I like to joke around a lot. You know, I think that's
Mhm.
something that, you know, I think my crew
Yeah.
will say. Yeah, just have
Cool.
a good time because you're making you know, a movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a really nice tonal balance in this film, right? Between satire, between kind of the
Mhm.
body horror elements, and yet still the message comes through. Was that, do you think that was largely accomplished in the script itself, or to your point, as performances evolved, was that really in the edit that you had to maintain that balance?
I think it was kind of all three. I think I really tried to have it in the script, but when we're shooting, my cinematographer and I, we came up with this kind of scale of like five was insane, absurd, like sorry to bother you, in terms of tone, in terms of look, and then
Mm,
one was the complete opposite, like a like Andrew Arnold fish tank. Because I
mm,
Mm,
shot it, a lot of it, I shot it like Fish Tank. We watched Fish Tank a lot. We watched a lot of Dardenne brothers because
mm,
those are the types of filmmakers I love. We watched a lot of Michael Haneke, who's my all-time favorite director, and you know, tried to do long takes and tried to kind of have the grittiness, I guess, and like the handheld kind of world mishmash with this more hyper real world, which also hadn't really been done before because I think most satirical films are shot in that kind of very static. They're always on sticks,
mm.
yeah.
often wide, you know, to let the comedy breathe. And I was kind of mishing both. So my DP and I would be like, is this scene a 2 out of 5? Is this a 5 out of 5? Where we got to shoot it really hyper crazy.
Mm,
One of my favorite scenes in the film is when, you know, McKenna is coming home and she has to see her parents. And that was a really interesting blend because it's so serious and
hmm.
traumatic, you know, with the parents having to kind of grapple with what's just happened. But also, there were hints of those comedic moments, right? With the pamphlet, with, you know, these other
Right.
things. And that was a really interesting kind of tonal balance to find, which I feel like that's when we really relied on my editors and
Mm,
post to find those those beats and those tonal shifts within a scene after we
Hmm.
shot it and scripted it.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would say all three were trying to get it right.
Yeah, that's very good. I have a question about a scene. Without spoiling it, we learn of another family that's gone through the procedure, the ethnos procedure, and their clothing's all white. Their house, everything is white. You know, the furniture. Can There's the obvious, I guess, metaphor to, you know, being Caucasian, but is there something else that I was supposed to pick up out of that scene?
Um, Gosh, I mean, you know, I think I wanted the design of that house to be just hyper white. And I definitely took inspiration from like, you know, real houses I've seen and, you know,
Mm,
real interior design elements that I've seen. You know, there's a phoenix on the wall, which is the phoenix from Ethnos, you know,
sure.
from the logo. But yeah, that's kind of, you know, the food is meant to be funny,
Mm,
and it's just, yeah, it's all just kind of pushing the boundaries and being ridiculous.
yeah. Actually, I have a follow-up question. While I was watching, I did have a question of like, were your cast was your cast totally understanding of the context and what was going on when they came on set, I guess? Was there any explaining that needed to be done?
I don't think there was any explaining. They definitely, understood, because we had those in-depth, conversations before we even started shooting. And,
Yeah, yeah.
when I first cast, each individual girl, even in those very initial conversations, they were very, very just hyper aware, of the
Mm,
themes and of the messaging, and
mhm,
they all really related,
mm,
to different elements. Even though McKenna and Amelie are white, but they understood that they were
mhm,
lending
mhm.
their voice,
Yeah,
to a different type of story. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't think there was any kind of
That's good.
confusion.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
sometimes I wonder, just because we are artists. I mean, I feel as artists that we need to know what's going on in the world. That's kind of part of our job.
Yeah.
And and just like an easy assumption that because we're artists, like there's an awareness. But I'm like, especially in Hollywood, I'm like, I wonder if I'm gonna ever bump into other bogeys, as we
Yeah, yeah.
navigate through our industry. Not only that, but then also being like female and Asian and just the layering.
Mm,
So, but I'm
totally.
glad to hear that, like, a proper breakdown went out and the casting director knew how to communicate stuff. And,
Yes,
they, yeah,
yes. No, definitely,
yeah,
yeah.
cool.
So just on the theme of the film, growing up, Asian Australian or Asian American, again, the film really resonates to me. But I am occasionally surprised that I meet people who just had a very different experience growing up and didn't
Hmm.
see it. So I'm
Mm,
curious, like when you're working with actresses like Shirley and McKenna and their generation, did they connect with the material as much as you intended? Like what was their reaction to the script and how they
Yeah,
sympathized
mm.
with the story?
Yeah, because they had more
yeah.
than
That's a
Karate
great
Kid.
question.
Our
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
generation
yeah.
had like
Yeah,
two icons or something like
totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. And what's sad is, and it's not just the cast, I've received like so many, DMs, but also people coming up to me after screenings who are of that generation, Generation
Mm,
Z,
that.
mm,
Alpha, I guess. I don't know if they're teenagers now, Generation Alpha. But yeah, like girls who like, yeah, went to, I remembered, I think it was Calgary in Canada where we
Mm,
had screening, and like, it was this like whole class of teenage girls who went to go see the film together.
mm,
And they all came up to me and they were just like, "Oh my god!" Like, and these were like white girls, Asian girls, all races, who were friends, and they were just like, "Man, this is like exactly my experience. Like wanting to
mm,
belong, like because it's yes, it's about race and it's about not looking right, but I feel like that really transcends race in a lot of ways too, and
mm,
that's what McKenna related to, yes, she's the the what's the word, dominant race, I guess, in America, right? A white girl, but
mm,
she has experienced being othered, and not looking how she would like to look, and being teased and bullied for other things, and so that's what she clutched onto and
mm,
related to, and similar to Amelie, who plays Olivia in the movie. So I think that's been kind of, really interesting, is that, yes, when I grew up, I really didn't, I mean, we didn't really have any Asian people on TV or movies except for like
mhm.
Lucy Liu, right? Like,
Right.
she was what
yep.
I saw in Charlie's Angels. And now there definitely, is a wider range of representation, but it's still this idea of identity, this idea of
Mm,
like, we're never seen as just American. It's always Asian American. It's a duo kind
Yep.
of identity,
mm,
and
mm,
that's what I think as a teenager for myself, and these teenagers that who still feel the same way are searching for, is like, can I ever just be an American? Can I, because you can't, because
Yeah.
of the way you look. And that's just what it is,
I mean, look
you
at the
know?
Olympics. Look at
Yeah.
how the Asian women representing America or other countries did in the Olympics, and how much criticism they got from, half of
Oh
our
my
country
God.
and our government. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I remembered
Yeah.
Suni Lee, right? She was the gymnast,
Right?
Yeah.
the American
Yes.
gymnast.
Yeah.
She I read the thing where she said she came to LA and she was
Mm.
waiting outside a restaurant on like Sunset Boulevard,
Mm.
and a
Mm,
car drove by her and told her to go back to China.
mm.
Yeah.
It's
I
crazy.
remember
And
hearing that. Yeah.
yeah, and this is like an Olympian who's won gold, right, for this country.
For the country. Yep.
Mm.
Yes, and because of her face,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the way she looked, she was othered
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
made to feel bad about herself,
Yeah.
and that's it's awful.
I think that was an interesting thing about the Olympics. Like, I didn't realize when I was watching the men's skating, France was represented by someone with Asian heritage, like 100% Asian heritage. I was like, ooh. But then I'm like, not but then, but I also feel that, like, oh, on the back end, he has these same conversations we're having.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
And it's just overall, just the acceptance of, like, hey, like, Asians can get on planes too, and we've been on boats and we've been in different continents, so we will,
yeah,
because
Yeah.
countries are, at the end of the day, they are man-made boundaries that are quickly
yes,
changed, that are ever changing, and that's never going to change. So we should probably stop doing that sooner or later. We'll figure it out.
yeah,
Right.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
I have a question about the ending of the film, but I'm not sure how to ask it in a way that doesn't give away the ending
Yeah,
Pause.
and
Hit
yeah.
spoilers.
I'm
pause.
like,
So
Skip 20
so
seconds ahead.
so maybe what I'll say is, like, what do you hope that people take away from the
take.
film? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I think I mean one big thing that I think is really interesting is I think more than ever, I think there are a lot of because of the divide in the country, I think Asian Americans, Black Americans, and the Hispanic Americans, all sorts of different, ethnicities in America, they really want to celebrate themselves, right? Like, I'm really proud to be Asian American,
mm,
really proud to be Black American. And I think that's so important. But at the same time, I think what's equally important is digging into those uncomfortable places of,
mm,
even though we want to eventually reach that place of acceptance and pride in ourselves, to get to that place, there is a long journey and a road that oftentimes can be really bumpy and scary and make you question and self-doubt and maybe be ashamed of who you are, which is not something that maybe we want to talk about as much. And I think that was a really big thing that I wanted to bring forth, was,
mm,
to kind of tell other people that it's like, don't be ashamed when you feel jealous. Don't be ashamed when you feel shameful of yourself, because these are all emotions that we all feel. Nobody is born into this world and it's just like, from a baby, like, fuck yeah, I'm
Hmm.
so proud to be Asian American, from a baby to now, like,
mm,
because society doesn't allow that, which is what's fucked.
mm,
Yeah.
So I think, that I think can be uncomfortable for people. But I think it's necessary. And at the end of the day, what the film ends you with is what I hope is a feeling of completion, a feeling
mm.
of you know maybe, yeah, it wasn't the right decision go to ethnos and get the surgery done, that there are many incredible things that make up who we are. And really the whole point of it is to realize that and to see that without wanting to be something else or somebody else.
Yeah.
And
There's
he's
a
like,
Being very
lovely,
vague.
yeah, and there's a lovely, I think the line from Vivian Wu, who plays Shirley's character's mother, um, I guess she says it to McKenna because they've already
Yeah.
swapped, is, what something along the lines of what makes us unique is, or because we're Chinese, that's why we're unique. And I think that kind of
Yes.
underscores what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because, I used to be really shamed when my parents would speak Mandarin in public. Like I
Hmm.
would tell them to not speak so loud, or to speak English, which is actually in the film.
Yep.
And now I'm so proud of it because I speak two languages, and most Americans only speak one.
Right.
Most Australians only speak one. So eh, I get to like understand a completely different language and be able to speak it, and understand our culture, and that's something I'm very proud of now. But it took time,
yeah.
because it's hard not to let the media, but also just the people, the culture around you who are constantly pushing different agendas, to kind of to get over that and to grow from that, and to learn to ignore that. And it takes age, and I think it takes time.
I can,
Junko and Amy,
yeah.
I have a question for you. Did either of you do the clothespin on the nose? That scene makes me laugh every
No.
time I see it. Because I've never seen
Yeah,
that, but then, of course, I'm sure people did it all
you,
the time.
yeah. I
It
I
was a
did it.
thing.
I did
Yeah,
it,
it was
yeah.
a
And
thing.
a
Yeah.
lot of people from screenings have come up and said they've done it too.
Yeah.
But then what's also fascinating is I've
Mm.
had a lot of white people be like, "Hey, what was she doing with the peg?"
Oh.
Yeah.
And I explained it to them, like, "Oh, so it's so interesting to some people. It's like, oh my God, this
Right.
was like every single day when I was a teenager." And then to others, they didn't even understand the concept.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
only saw it in like on a TV show. Yeah,
Mm.
actually, oddly enough, and yeah, oddly enough, but it had significant effect on my life. With my first 2 years, I was actually at a day boarding school with
Mm.
other teenage girls. I think there were like how much two four, maybe there are about 40 boarders Monday through Friday. So that's a
Wow.
whole different. That's almost like Yellow
Wow.
Jackets. Like it's like we're a whole different society going on there.
Yeah. My
Hmm.
So
God.
I was only aware of the clothespin thing because I saw it like on TV somewhere else. But that yeah, but
Mm.
it was
Wow.
definitely an OG thing, and it had to be like a
Yeah.
wooden clothespin.
Yeah.
It can't
Totally.
be what we have
Exactly.
now.
Oh,
A
yeah.
plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
I mean,
certain
yeah,
amount of pressure, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And you have
yeah.
to, I mean, yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah, it's like you had to like make sure you did it, before you went outside. Like, so you had enough time for the
So you don't
marks to
have
kind
the
of go
so you don't have
down.
the imprints. Yeah.
But
That's so
isn't that
funny.
so sad? It's so sad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I
But
feel like
yeah.
it's so exasperated with social media and because she was
Mm,
doing something that was being done back in probably 60s, 70s, and she has that
yeah.
smartphone, right? So it's a complete mishmash of generational female like self trauma, I
Yeah.
guess. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
and
I
social
kind of,
media,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of traumatizing, like social media and its
Oh my
stuff,
God.
right?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Like like I think like when did Facebook come out? I can't remember.
Uh,
2006. 2006 or
Smartphones were
2007.
five.
I think
Yeah,
it may be
eight,
even
maybe
earlier than
eight.
that, right? Like I
Ooh.
think
Yeah.
like
Oh, that's right.
2002 or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
before it went public,
Wow. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
Right.
that
Right.
version. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like that, yeah, like I was definitely in the early years of it.
Mm,
You know, but like when I was in college, like, yeah, Instagram was a big thing. Like, you
mm,
know, filters and being able to like
mm.
really change, like, I can't remember the app, but like really change your
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
face,
yeah.
Yeah,
Right, right,
like
right.
really became big. And it was really, I mean, it just changed the game, you know, and
Yeah.
even more so now, it's like I can't even imagine being a teenage girl.
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
societally speaking, like, and at that time, we never quite pushed back on the Brooke Shields being all nice and like all touched up and stuff. Like we, as a society, we never
Yeah,
pushed back really hard, and
totally. We accepted
it's
it.
dragged into social media and stuff, and it definitely exasperates, the psychology of kind of what everyone's going through in Slanted. It's it's
Yeah.
just not
Yeah,
Shirley's character. Yeah,
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you opened the conversation a little bit with like, oh, this idea of having racial transition surgery or this type of surgery is ridiculous. Do you think it's really ridiculous now? I feel like it could happen.
no, no,
I
it's
feel
just
like
yeah. There's
30% of young Koreans
no,
Absolutely.
there's
get
the
some type of plastic
yeah
surgery, right?
Brazilian boy,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, he wanted to be Asian. He wanted to be East
yeah,
Asian, and this is about a decade ago,
yeah,
at
yeah. There
least.
was, yeah, I've definitely read about a British guy who tried to
Mm,
be or has done a bunch of surgeries to look South Korean,
Mm,
to
yeah,
look Korean.
I feel like I come
Um,
across males more than females though in this.
oh,
interesting.
that's
Or
interesting.
is it
That's actually
because
kind of
those,
true.
or is it that
Yeah.
just it's clickbaity when it's a
Huh.
male
That's very
Mm.
trying to do it,
interesting.
right?
Because I also, it's funny because there's a documentary, I can't remember the name, but it's about this new like surgery you can do that changes the color of your eye.
Whoa.
Mm.
And like a lot of people have gone blind
Oh
over
wow,
it.
not so good.
Yeah, and the documentary follows a man, a black man, I think
Mm-hmm.
British, I
Mm-hmm.
think might be American, I can't remember, but he's also, yeah, struggled with self-confidence and wanted to, you know, change the way he looked
Yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
guess, you know, get a little whiter by changing his color, his eye color to
Mm.
just piercing blue.
Mm.
Mm.
And it was really insane. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was a load of men who were doing that
Yeah, yeah.
surgery.
Yeah. I mean, to
Maybe
your
they have,
point, that's
I don't know.
probably why so many people, not just Asian young women, can relate to this film because everybody has gone
Yeah,
through life at some point saying, "Hey, I wish I had this or looked like this." It
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
well, okay, so we talked about earlier theatrical release March 14th. Is it a limited release or wide release?
It's what's the difference? I mean, it's not wide in the sense that it's going to be in like 2,000 theaters, but it's
Mm.
not. We're not starting with like, you know how some
Like LA, New York first,
yeah,
anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
it's. I think it's gonna play in like 400 or 500 theaters across
Oh, great.
America. I mean, yeah, I've been getting so many text messages from friends who have been to like all the AMC's, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in New York and
Yeah.
LA
Nice.
already,
Yep.
and all the
Yep.
posters are up, and
Nice. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do
um,
like I do like the new poster. I don't know when it was
yeah,
done, but I do like it a lot.
great, great. I'm so glad. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Junko, the old poster I think
Yeah.
was a still from the film when she's
Yeah.
walking
Yeah.
down the halls and looking
Mm-hmm.
at the portraits of other
Right. All the
prom
Yeah,
queens,
yeah, yeah.
painting keys. Yeah. Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
also effective. But I like the artwork of the new one, so that's
Yes,
nicely
I
done.
agree.
Oh,
Yeah,
props to
Bleeker
the
Yeah,
did a
art
great job.
department for that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
it was all Bleeker. Bleeker did a great job.
nice because I'm the type of person who looks at that and I look at the top edges. I'm like, how do they hang that? I'm like, oh, they printed that. And I'm just imagining because there's like a lot of posters, but some like
Yeah.
some RPA being like, okay, I'm printing them, printing more,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
checking them.
totally.
So props to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
all
It's
right.
hard. Yeah, I feel like it's hard to make like a new concept. with the poster.
But that was pretty cool.
So very excited. Everybody should go see this film, Slanted. It sounds like it should be available in your area, wherever you are. Amy, what are you working on now? You have any other projects that you're allowed to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, the main one is my next movie that I'm, hopefully gonna make soon. It's called Crescendo, and it is a movie about competitive piano playing.
Mm.
And
Oh.
yeah, it's a little Whiplash, it's a little
Yeah, I was gonna say
Amadeus.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's set in Poland.
Uh-huh.
And it's a real competition, and they call it the Olympics of piano because it happens every 4 years,
Oh.
like the Olympics. And it's really a movie about two girls. There's a rivalry going on. It's a psychosexual thriller. So it's really, it deals with classism, it deals with envy, it deals with self-sabotage, little black swan
Yeah.
elements in there as well.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so that's hopefully going to be my next movie.
Yay. So are you in
And I'll be
the
back here.
fundraising? Are you in the
Yes.
fundraising stage? Or are you in the where are you at?
Yes.
Okay.
Fundraising
Okay.
stage, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Keep a surprise.
And getting cast soon and
yeah,
all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
Hopefully some exciting,
Poland.
yeah.
Yay. Although I'm
Yes.
sure your producing team's like, yes, Poland, cheaper.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
be honest.
For sure, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
be honest.
I mean, yeah, all those, European countries like,
Belgium.
Hungary,
Hungary, all those, but the Baltics,
Yeah.
Yes.
yes. So,
And
yeah.
the film you said is based off of a real competition. Are the characters loosely based off of real people?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, the characters are very much, all of these stories really come from what I'm going through and my inner world of turmoil. It's always in turmoil.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like class is always such a big thing in all of
Sure.
the things that I write. So that's a really big part of it because classical music, competitive piano is a very elite kind of wealthy thing. And so it really kind of deals with kind of two worlds colliding and this competition. And my main character, she comes from nothing. She's English. So yeah,
Interesting.
very
Wait,
personal themes.
Amy, do you have a piano background?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Played my whole life. Yeah.
Okay. Had to ask.
Yeah, we assumed
Yeah.
there was some autobiographical nature to it for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. For sure.
I have just one last question for you. It is awards season. What else have you seen that you're a big fan of?
Oh. Gosh, I mean, out of the awards movies, I really, really liked. I feel like everybody liked One Battle.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite out of
Yeah.
the Best Picture nominations.
Okay,
I
I would have guessed Hamnet for you. Not
Oh,
being biased,
really?
but I was just like,
yeah.
I've gotten to know you for the last 40 minutes, but
Yeah.
aside from that, on the
You
list,
didn't guess
I was
Hamnet.
I was like, are you
Hamnet
a
was great
Hamnet
too.
person?
Hamnet was great. Yeah. But I think
One Battle, huh?
yeah, One Battle. I really liked Hedda, but I know
Yes.
Hedda didn't get nominated for anything, right?
Correct.
I thought-
They didn't get nominated. They got nominated. I think they got a couple nods at like the Film Independent Spirit Awards, but nothing at like the Oscars. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I absolutely loved Tessa Thompson's performance. I thought she was brilliant.
Her and Nina Haas too was amazing. Which
Yes.
you
Oh
know,
my God.
I hadn't realized she had played Hedda in like
Right.
in the theater,
Yes.
rendition of it.
Yes. Yeah. I was. Yes. Because I went to the Q&A of that and they were talking about that. It was just so funny. But she was great. Yeah. Because I hadn't really known about her.
Yeah.
Until Hedda. And then I'm trying to think what other movies. I really liked Sentimental Value.
Yes.
That's another one I need to.
Um,
Yeah, I want to catch that one
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. And A
Um,
Secret Agent. Have you seen that one?
yes,
That
yes,
one's
really
big.
fun.
Was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
ah.
unexpected. That's definitely one where
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
does like really interesting, fresh things.
Ah, cool.
Um,
Have to hunt that one down. I prefer not to
yeah,
pay at the theater and go see one of our local screenings.
yeah. I just like do the AMC A-list, and
Yeah, a lot of my friends are
you
doing
can
that.
watch as many. Yeah,
Yeah, I
um,
might go back to that. We'll see.
yeah. Do it. Yeah, I really enjoyed Nirvana, the band, the show.
Hmm.
Oh,
I
Yeah, yeah.
just
yes.
caught that.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched
That's
that
Ah,
really
last
good.
weekend. So
Yeah.
nice.
fun.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
fun. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, those are
Yeah.
my
Your
All right,
picks.
thank you.
picks.
Those are
Yeah.
good
Okay.
picks. I liked all of them.
Yeah.
I think
Good.
One Battle is also my favorite, but I have a growing love for Sentimental Value. The
Yeah.
Mm.
more it's one of those films that I keep thinking about, and that usually means good
Totally.
things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Although I did love The Worst Person Ever more.
Well, the worst person ever.
The yeah, the is that what the movie's called?
Oh, the previous movie,
What the entry
Joachim
is?
Trier's
Yeah,
previous
yeah.
movie. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Ah.
I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard that is very good. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Because it's
Yeah.
the same
That was like
Renata Rente's in that
yes.
also, right? Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
All
Well,
right.
Junko, you've got one more question, right?
Yes. So this is the question we always close out our show with. Because we are called United by Rice, we always ask our guests, "What is your favorite rice dish?" And this also
Ooh.
can include rice noodles because it's made out of rice. Or
Yeah.
anything.
I
Your favorite right
mean,
now?
what about Singapore noodles? Do they
Oh,
count?
yeah. If it's rice, it's game.
Yes, Singapore noodles. And
Ooh.
then, but also my husband makes a really good 3-cup chicken.
Oh,
Yeah, simple dish, but so good. It's like a weekly
nice.
staple. Yeah, so 3-cup chicken,
Oh,
but Singapore noodles. You can't really get Singapore noodles in the US because
oh,
it's huge in Australia.
Yeah.
Like every
yeah.
restaurant, literally every restaurant, doesn't even matter if it's like
Huh.
an Asian restaurant.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
just
yeah,
have
yeah.
Mm.
I was just
Singapore
saying Singapore.
noodles
Yeah.
in
And meat
Sydney.
sauce.
Yeah. But like like I guess because Sydney or Australia's so close to
Yeah.
Southeast
Yeah.
Asia.
Yeah.
But I can't get it. I also love laksa. Laksa is
Um,
Yeah.
yes. Also you can get
Mm-hmm.
it anywhere in Australia, but you can't really
Mm.
get it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are my
Oh.
dishes.
well,
And
thank you for sharing.
yay, thank you.
Of
Yay.
course.
Well,
3-cup
thank you so
chicken.
much. It's a pleasure to have you. We'll have you back with Crescendo, or maybe hopefully we'll have you back for like
Yes.
awards discussions for Slanted, because I think it's
Yes.
We
a
will have you back.
fantastic film. Yes.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Well, thank you so much, Amy.
Of course.